Anyways, today is the day, if you couldn't tell from the title. I forgot I can record because I'm not driving. I'm finally going to Six Flags Over Georgia, my first legacy Six Flags park. Now that the Six Flags and Senior Fair chains have merged, I've been to a couple of Senior Fair parks, but somehow never been to a legacy Six Flags park. But here we are, after living about 3 hours away from this park for like the last 4 years. I finally decided to go, mostly because I'm about to move, so I'm like, okay, now I have to go. Anyways, I'm here with my friend Blake today, who lives in the Atlanta area. We've been to Fun Spot a couple times. You've probably seen him in some other videos, but today's the day. It's your first time at Six Flags Over Georgia as well.
It is.
Yeah.
My second legacy Six Flags park.
Yeah, you've been to St. Louis before. So yeah, he's not as much of a coaster enthusiast as I am, so hopefully he's able to keep up with some of the shenanigans. But yeah, obviously all of the coasters at this park will be new to me because I haven't been here before, and this is pretty exciting. This is probably the biggest new park I've gotten to hit while you know, this channel's been a thing. So be exciting. Lots of new credits. We actually do have a new for 2025. I forget it's 2025. That's crazy. New for 2025 ride there, which is Georgia Gold Rusher. I still want to call it Georgia Surfer, which was its original name before that was changed. Overall, I've heard that nothing drastic, but there's apparently already been some kind of positive changes at this park since the merger. Historically, this is a park that, you know, was kind of known as being a little dumpy. Like it always had like a decent ride collection, probably middle of the pack for Six Flags parks, but I always heard it was kind of run down, not very clean, not very well maintained. And apparently some of that has started to turn around a little bit under Cedar Fair's leadership in the new Six Flags company. So we'll have to see how that is when we get up here. All right, as we're driving down Interstate 20 here, you can already see Goliath off in the distance. I have to say it looks a lot taller from back here than I thought it would. You can see several Six Flags rides over there. Well, now they're going behind the trees. This is a kind of interesting park in that it's very much built into the terrain on a plot of land that you would not normally designate as a theme park plot of land. They just kind of made it work. It's very hilly, very in the forest, very tight. You'll see what I mean when we get in here. Obviously, I've never been here before, but I can kind of get a vibe. And we've driven past here once. When we went to Fun Spot in like February, we did beforehand, we did drive by just to look at it. Goliath was still in the middle of its repaint at that point, which it did have. Yeah, we got the Six Flags Park exit sign. I don't get to film that drives into parks very often, so this is fun. Yeah, you'll see Goliath again in a second over here. It's very, very hidden in the trees, but yeah, Goliath looks great with the new repaint. You got the teal track and gray supports. Before it had this like hideous orange color for the track and like bright blue supports. I thought it looked really bad. It looks good now. This park's got such an interesting setup. So we're driving into the parking lot that's like way over here. It does look like they're running a parking tram today, which is good. And so here's the entrance. That was the old entrance we just passed, which actually looks pretty nice. But anyways, here's the actual entrance here. It's a little goofy as we're driving. It is cool though. You get to drive past all these rides on your way in. It is a cool looking park so far. Oh, this is like the most depressing, crappiest looking parking toll I've ever seen at a park. Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's only like 3 lanes. There's already a massive line forming to get into the park here. So here we are at the parking lot, which is like, you know, way over behind the entrance. I actually don't mind it though. It's kind of interesting. Makes things a little different, a little more fun, a little more.
Several field trips here.
Yeah, well, it's got to deal with that sometimes. Anyways, here's like the DC area right here. You can see the backside of Batman the Ride with Gotham Public Works there. I'm excited to get on that one. Apparently this one runs like a bat out of hell compared to the others. So it just pulled away. Oh, there's another one pulling up. But yeah, they do have a tram stop here. Just one tram stop for the whole parking lot, but like I said, not a big parking lot, because the longer hike is just the fact you got to go all the way around here to the entrance. But it is nice that they are running a parking tram. You wouldn't expect that at a Six Flags park, so that's nice. Mindbender here looks like it was built into a literal drainage ditch. That's kind of funny. Obviously, we haven't gone inside yet, but everything here is a little bit better than I expected it to be, except for whatever the heck this parking toll here is. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not really backing up that much, but it is just really funny how tiny that is compared to every other park I've ever been to. Anyways, we're continuing now down this completely separated pedestrian path from the parking lot, which is super nice. And that's the road that is just for the parking trams to go on, so that's good. They have a separated tram road too, if you want to take the tram up to the entrance from the parking lot. It's also worth mentioning, if you do take MARTA here, which I don't think you could do right now. You said it's not open yet, is it?
There's a seasonal bus that runs from H.E. Holmes MARTA train station to here, but I don't know if it's open yet. It's seasonal.
Yeah, but when you do that, when it drops you off kind of right up by the front entrance here, so you actually get better access than the parking lot does, which is very unusual for a regional theme park in the U.S. Yeah, Goliath is one of the smaller B&M hypers, as I was mentioning earlier. I think it's just at 200 feet, but it still looks pretty big as you're rocking up here. But yeah, no, I absolutely love this entrance. Oh, that's a long line to get in the park. I don't think we're getting on anything early, but that's all right. I really do like this entrance area. Some people hate it, but I think it's nice. A lot of theme parks, most theme parks, you know, just have like a giant parking lot right in front of the entrance, which I guess is convenient, but it's kind of not pretty. With the much more controlled access road here, and then Goliath wrapping around the entrance and everything, and then this cool pond over here with a little waterfall that you can't really see now, but it's there. Like, it's a very nice looking entrance area. So I really hope that they don't ever, you know, put a parking lot up here and make it all generic. We'll see. Goliath's repaint looks so good. So pretty. And again, I love how it wraps around the whole entrance area here. Got this fountain. This is just really pretty entrance. I'm not gonna lie. So here's the new entrance that they just finished last year, which actually faces the path from the parking lot. So it's a little bit more of a walk around if you are coming from where the old entrance used to be, but not that far. Here comes the parking tram. That's where it drops you off. That's a smaller one. Most of the other ones we've seen are two of those linked together. That's a nice tram. All right, so this is the new entrance plaza that was just done this year. So we just came through security. It's very well staffed, very efficient security there. And then we're about to go straight through the admissions here. And to the left is your ticket sales. So yeah, no, it's nice. I do kind of like, you know, the old entrance was more historic, prettier looking, but it is still there. They didn't tear it down, which is nice. Oh yeah, Blake pointed out they have this really nice mural right here. Anyways, so we're heading in. This was the old entrance, this brick building right here. Again, really glad they kept that. They don't use it as an entrance anymore, which I get why. It was a much more crowded, much lower capacity. This new entrance experience is much nicer, but I'm very glad they kept this to be nice and historic there. And you can still see that when you drive up. But they still use it as the exit. Yeah, that's where you used to come in, and holy crap, the field trip groups are here. For sure.
Full force.
It's definitely a bit of a tighter entry area like you would expect for like Carowinds. It's very similar to that. A little bit more run down than Carowinds, but a lot more forested, a little more personality. Anyways, we're gonna cut to the right here. Oh my gosh, they got Bugs Bunny. All right, there it says on the wait time board, Georgia Scorcher and Twisted Cyclone are open early. Twisted Cyclone's right there. You want to go?
Sure.
Yeah, this is one you're most looking forward to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, Twisted Cyclone it is. Hopefully it's not too much of a wait right now. And then we're going to head to the back of the park and do the classic start at the back of the park and work to the front strategy. But yeah, Twisted Cyclone right at the front. I hear this is usually one of the longer waits in the morning because it's literally right at the entrance here. You just turn right and you're there. Shouldn't be too bad right now. It says it's a walk-on. Let's see if it's really a walk-on or not. Walking right up into the station from the queue. Sweet.
Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. Once you're right, come back for you can stop. Make sure you stop away. Live bar. I'm fast to see that to your left. Thank you for your second. Happy to rest of your play. Are you
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That was actually way better than I expected it to be. I mean, obviously, I'd say Area Force is still better, but it's a lot closer than I thought. People acted like Area Force was like the best ride in Georgia by far. I think that was actually pretty close. It's actually kind of fun since you're moving through a lot of the elements slower. Like on the first 2 inversions, you almost get a little bit of hang time for like a split second. The inversions are powerful. Sometimes the bigger RMCs, the inversions almost feel, or the airtime moments almost feel too strong.
Yeah.
So this is not, I kind of actually like the smaller RMCs a bit, but that was amazing.
It was.
Also, ops are really good. They're actually rolling trains right now, so we didn't have to wait on the brake run at all. Didn't have to wait for that ride at all. But it looks like it's picked up a line now, so we're gonna wait for rope drop to head back to the whatever it is, Georgia Gold Rusher. Oh, and we do have to exit through a gift shop. This looks like a Steel Vengeance ad, not a Twisted Cyclone ad.
It does.
Whatever. All right, so I think right here is where they hold it. I see some security, yeah. So this is where they'll hold everybody until 11, which is when the park officially opens. But apparently, I believe Georgia Scorcher and Twisted Cyclone typically open at 10:30, even when the park opens at 11. So that's a nice tip. So we got that in early. Wow, there's a band. It's 11. Can we go through? All right, I'm not actually running, but we just got through it. As know some people run. That's why they call it the running of the bulls. And I do not care. All right, I see Georgia Gold Rusher right there, the 2 spikes. So I think you can cut through kind of around this corner somewhere. We're going to find out. Georgia Gold Rusher, new for 2025, as I said. It is an Intamin Ultra Surf, I think. It's an interesting model. So it's a launch shuttle coaster, just kind of goes up 2 spikes with an airtime hill in the middle. It looks very generic to me, but people apparently say it's like incredible, like surprisingly so. So we'll give it a try. We'll see. See if it's as good as everyone says it apparently is. Apparently it really blew everybody's expectations out of the water. This area is called DC Super Friends. It's just a couple little kiddie rides and their Joker Funhouse coaster, which apparently almost never actually runs. So we'll see if I even get that credit today. But yeah, it looks like over this bridge, that should take us right to Georgia Gold Rusher. All right, there's Georgia Gold Rusher. It's a crazy view, a really cool view from this bridge here. Yeah, so there's the station. You launch out the spike, then you come over this airtime hill. You kind of go up these spikes a couple times. Apparently the airtime is crazy and the launches are super punchy. So hopefully that is the case. I do think it still looks a little goofy the way that they've done the water thing around here. The queue goes under the bridge we just crossed. So we will head over to it. Well, there's the train going. I didn't actually know that they had a train. I just saw the station earlier. It's a very small one, 2 cars, but that's cool nonetheless. So yeah, Georgia Gold Rusher was supposed to open last year. So this is a ride that was originally going to a park in Vietnam. That park fell through. But yeah, this whole area around here is very like country kind of area. You got this little creek that runs through the middle here. It's pretty, So I definitely appreciate that. So here we go. Here's the sign for Georgia Gold Rusher. It looks like a really long queue. Here we go. I just got some water from this. All the water fountains we've passed have been turned off. So I go to the stand. Luckily you can get a cup of iced tap water, which is nice. Actually tastes fine. I bring my water bottle to parks to fill up in the water fountains because that's just easier for me, and then you can have the water bottle all day. I haven't found a working water fountain yet. Anyways, entering Georgia Gold Rusher under the bridge here.
Clear dispatch.
Wow. Literally. Yeah. Okay. I underestimated that. That was really good. I will say, when you want to go again, it is a long ass exit line to then just turn around and get right back in it.
Literally everybody's running back.
Cool signage in the queue as well, explaining how this is apparently a gold mining contraption. Alright, my hair's already being wild today, but all good. Met another coaster enthusiast in line. We talked for a bit. Always good fun. We did like 3 rides in a row there. He's still going with his son there. His son wants to keep going. And I decided to go ahead and move on, go find Blake. So Blake wanted to sit this one out. Wasn't really his thing. So, but yeah, no, that was wild. That was incredible. I don't even know what else to say really. Yeah, no, it looks generic on paper, but then you actually ride it, and I think it may just be because it's kind of unlike anything else I've ridden before. Just the sensations. When you're an enthusiast like this, you ride so many rides. You know, you start to get used to a lot of sensations, so more unique sensations are more interesting. So that may be part of it, since you're like sideways or backwards getting airtime. But yeah, the way that those spikes are profiled, when you come up onto them, you get like an ejector pop while you're up in the air. The launches are crazy punchy for LSMs. All around, just really good. I will be here today and tomorrow, so I'm not too concerned about riding everything, but I still want to get as much done as I can, because this will probably be the only weekend I visit this park. So you may end up having to split up for a bit, because he's not quite as, into just doing the back-to-back rides the way that I am, which is fine. But yeah, I think he wants to the mine train. I'm gonna go catch him at the exit there. What the heck is going on here? All right, hiking back to the very back of the park. It's like noon now, so the start of the back of the park strategy may not work super well, but it's worth a try. Blake, you did Mine Train while I was finishing up on Gold Rusher.
It was a ride.
That's a way to put it. I'll definitely do that later to get the credit, but right now I do want to start in the back. I need to find somewhere to get some water though. Like I said, none of the water fountains here have been working, which kind of sucks. So you have to like go to a food counter and ask for water. It's still free, but it's just a little bit more annoying. There goes Gold Rusher behind me. Incredible ride. Superman's where I want to go next, but definitely need to find some water first, because that is an intense ride. Oh, and we have to wait for the train. Alright, food service is slow as hell here. I just waited like 10 minutes for a glass of water. I'm not used to them not having water fountains anywhere. Great American Scream Machine is a surprisingly picturesque ride. I'll get that one in a minute. Anyways, we're in the Metropolis area, so here's Justice League Battle for Metropolis. They're dark ride, and then Superman Ultimate Flight, and then a little bit of Metropolis theming, but not very much. And that's pretty much it. But that's standard for Six Flags. This ride could use a repaint though. That ride is looking pretty faded, pretty dark, pretty dirty. Anyways, hopefully it's not too long of a line here. Okay, so once you get closer to the ride, here's some just billboards of comic things related to Superman. I guess that's about what you expect from Six Flags. Here's the entrance. So fun fact with Superman here, there's 3 Superman Ultimate Flights at the different Six Flags parks. Great America and Great Adventure also have one. This was the original, so it was actually designed for Six Flags Over Georgia and for this plot of land, so it actually has a bit of terrain interaction, whereas the Great America and Great Adventure ones are just lifted off the ground and placed on a flat plot of land by the parking lot. So this is definitely the most interesting of the 3. It's also the only one of the 3 that has a dual load station, although they never use it anymore. They just use one side of it, and the other 2 just had the single load station to save money. And yeah, for staffing reasons, they only ever use one station at a time now, which is a shame. Hopefully with the new Six Flags company, we can see them start to use both again. I am pretty excited for this though, because right now the only 2 flying coasters I've ridden is Nighthawk, rest in peace, and then the Zamperla Valère in Austria. Which are 2 of the worst flying coasters apparently. But I really enjoyed Nighthawk. So I'm hoping, you know, with this being supposedly a smoother ride experience and a little bit more refined, everybody likes to be on Flyers better than the Flying Dutchmans. So I'm hoping that this will be really something I really enjoy. I've been looking forward to this for a while. One of my most anticipated rides here, no jokes. So typical Six Flags, the queue is just a few random posters of DC Comics superheroes. It's a little cheap, but it's whatever. Yeah, this is an interesting queue. We're heading up the hillside, getting up to the station, which is at ground level. It's so interesting that this ride was actually built for this terrain here. You got a tunnel there, which you don't get on the other ones. It does look like they're only running one train today, which is sad. Okay, so they were running with one train. Now they have an empty train on the lift. The other train is still on the station. So I'm gonna guess they decided to put the second train on. Thank God.
Second worst
It just dispatched.
Like, I asked my grade, are you several times getting argue stuff? Alright. Like, said you would, but like, I dropped my water bottle, she told me to go put it outside. Go put it outside. It's like 20 minutes. Ain't nobody on it. They're running two. Oh, wait. They got the second. What is that? Oh, already with the hat on. Oh, there's that. Oh, what is that? Both of them are on. Yeah, they're not very
Over the split to the two stations used to be, they just have the trash can set up to block it. Even with the second train on the line is definitely picking up from where it was before, so good thing I got in line when I did. Oh, that was a good dispatch. Nice to just park there. The line has gotten even longer, even with the second train added on. But yeah, I waited about 30 minutes for that, which definitely could have been worse. It was a good thing they got the second train on pretty early there, and they're really moving now. I've been impressed by operations here today, especially based on what I've heard in the past. This park was pretty rough. I think I've heard about like 6 or 7 minute dispatches on Twisted Cycling, but yeah, so you can exit through a gift shop, or you can exit normal. That's cool that they have no choice. I think it's because the first two rides I did today dramatically exceeded expectations. This, I would say, was pretty below expectations for me. I think after that ride, I still prefer Nighthawk, personally, which I know is a hot take, but I don't know. It was fine. I don't know, a little bit underwhelmed. Whatever. Hopefully, I'll come back and do it again later when it, hopefully has a shorter line. I just don't want to wait another 30 minutes just to try again on a ride I wasn't the biggest fan of. It was still good. It wasn't bad, but again, I was just really excited because Nighthawk is I like that one a lot, and I'm like, oh, people don't like that, but everyone says this is better. And it wasn't. I don't think it was. Yeah, so there's my hot and wild take. Based on that one ride, I was in the second row, so maybe I need to ride it in the back. But from that second row ride, Granted, most of my Nighthawk rides are on the front row, so pretty comparable there. I do prefer Nighthawk over Ultimate Flight, but also Nighthawk's gone now, so doesn't really matter now, does it? Yeah, so Blake, you skipped out on Ultimate Flight as well, so what were you doing in the meantime?
Well, I played a ball toss game right over there.
Okay.
Went over to the Riverview Carousel, which was just like empty. I got the entire one of the sleighs in the carousel to myself. It was peaceful.
Nice.
And then I got to ride the Hanson cars, which is essentially just like, if you remember the Tin Lizzies at Opryland, it's just like that.
Yeah. Screw this park. This park sucks. I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea that this was a roller coaster landmark. Yeah, Great American Scream Machine. Apparently this used to be rough as hell, but apparently it's been retracked recently and is actually okay. I am dehydrated as heck, but their water fountains don't work, so here we go. All right, doesn't look too bad down in the queue there. I do like this queue building. It's very nice and well maintained, very classic. I like that. Yeah, so Blue Hawk has not run a single test run all day, which if there's one thing here to miss out on, that's a fine one, but still, I wanted to get all the credits. This is one of the stations where the rows don't line up, so our row says 9. That's row 9. You can see there's 3 rows behind us, and then 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the station's not lined up at all. There's a very long exit ramp back up to the park. This ride's kind of like down in a ravine. It's interesting, this park is very terrain-based, so it's kind of terrainy. It looks pretty. All right, so before the retracking it got a couple years ago, people described this as giant agonizing sadism machine. And it's not that bad now, but it's still worse than I expected. Some people are like, oh, they retracted it, smooth now. It's still pretty bumpy for a Woody. And honestly, rides like this are why people have such a bad rap for wood coasters. If you're at a good wood coaster, it's smoother than most steel. Anyway, so this could be maintained better, but it also wasn't terrible. You got some okay airtime, you know, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was okay.
all right, yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it's kind of exactly what I expected, which is just like, it's a wooden coaster, it exists. It's rough, but it's not too bad. Airtime's okay, you know, whatever. All right, yeah, so that was Great American Scream Machine. I do like, it's very it's a pretty ride. I like the color scheme. I like the station's very pretty and well maintained. It is really cool. The first drop and the last couple airtime hills are like over a little pond. And then when you get on top of that turnaround after the first drop, you actually see the Chattahoochee River. That's what that is, right?
It is.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that close to the park. So you get a view of the river right there. Dirty river, but still cool nonetheless. Yeah, you can see the pond back there. Oh, that one just came in the brake run and this one's dispatching. Yeah. They've been rolling trains. I've been really impressed with operations here today. Thank you, Cedar Fair, or whatever, new Six Flags, management, whatever. Operations are really good here now. Hopefully we see that across all the parks. But anyways, you can see these, barely, the sky coaster used to be right in this infield here. You can see barely the concrete where part of it used to be. And then that used to hold the main tower down there by the river there. So Six Flags has gotten rid of most of their sky coasters this year. Carowinds still has theirs for some reason. But most parks have gotten rid of theirs, over Georgia included. So I don't think anyone's all that sad. Nobody really liked upcharge attractions anyway, but that's gone, I guess. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do with this space. I mean, they could put another ride down there, like a big flat ride or something. But I don't know. It's just kind of hard because of the way Scream Machine's positioned here. You can't really have pass down there or anything. I mean, you could, it'd just be hard. So I don't know. They might just leave that spot empty. We'll see. All right, here's Blue Hawk. This is their Vekoma looper thing. Most people think this is the worst ride in the park, and it does look pretty janky. But unfortunately, it is not running today. Oh, they don't even have a sign up for it. There's no sign. They were testing it just a minute ago, but I still don't think it's opening today. Yeah, it says this attraction is returning this spring, so I guess it's not ready yet. Which again, if there's one thing in this park I'm gonna miss out on, I would probably choose Blue Hawk. I could care less. But yeah, I think that this park has a bright future under the new Six Flags chain. They, on their most recent investor call, they specifically called out Over Georgia as being one of the parks that they think is most underutilized in their portfolio, and talked about how much they want to do here. So I'm excited to see, what the future holds. Hopefully we see a lot of mostly infrastructure. The main thing today is just, I think the ride collection here is pretty good. The operations apparently used to suck. They've been pretty good today. So hopefully the chain's already worked on that. I think the only really big thing I'd say is just a lot of the buildings look a little bit worn down. They could all use like new paint jobs and stuff. So mostly just a little bit of appearance stuff, which they've already started doing, like with repainting Goliath and stuff. So, I mean, I think the future's bright. Fun fact, this ride used to operate somewhere on the Jersey Shore. I forget which pier, but it used to operate on the Jersey Shore and then got bought by Six Flags and moved here. Okay, I'm confused because it looks like we just walked into their Wild West area, and I thought that's what Georgia Gold Rush's area was, the Wild West area. But apparently this is. They got a show. I did not expect that. Okay, that's cool. Tostitos Cantina. I don't think I've ever seen that blatant, other than like Coca-Cola, I've never seen that blatant product placement in a park before. Anyway, so this wraps around to kind of where Georgia Gold Rush is. So I guess this whole thing is just Lick Skillet Square, their Wild West area. Let's check out our wait times here. We wanted to see Goliath. We're ready for it to scroll. For some reason, the app's not showing wait times right now, so. Oh, Goliath is just not even on the screen. Okay. Oh, so over here, this is where their go-karts used to be. That's another thing, another new chain's been getting rid of in a lot of parks is go-karts. I think they've really just been getting rid of most of their upcharge attractions, which I totally understand. They're usually not as that profitable for the amount of land they take up. Most people don't really do upcharge attractions these days, but there you go. It's just a clear shot right to the parking lot from here. You were talking about, there is a rumor right now that they might, move the front gate over here. I kind of hope they don't do that personally. I think the setup they have right now is fine. What do you think?
I think it's fine. It's charming.
Yeah. So I'd rather them put a ride here, but if they do put an entrance, whatever. Blue Hawk's testing again over there. Just saw it go through one of the loops. Yeah, you can barely see it there. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna open today, but okay. I just went up to one of the snack stands and was like, "Can I fill up my water?" And they were like, "Sure." So apparently you can do that. What is this? The USA area of the park?
Looks like.
This park has been super interesting to me thus far because some areas are really tight and terrain based, and then we just came over here and it just way opened up, and there's very little trees anymore. But overall, I do like the vibe of the park. It's very forested compared to your average Six Flags park, which I do like a lot. All right, Goliath, their B&M Hyper, exactly 200 feet, I think. So still pretty tall, but not as tall as some of the other ones I've done. But yeah, it got repainted this year. It looks pretty nice. New logo and everything. So I think this red looked really ugly before, so I'm glad to see it refresh here. It looks like it'll be a long wait. Hopefully, I'd say maybe a 30, 45 minute wait. We'll see. And then we're gonna get lunch. Alright, this is the first TV I've seen in the park that's actually working. It's just showing Batman comics in a ride that has nothing to do with Batman, but it works at least. Alright, it looks like no grouper, maybe? Oh no, there is a grouper, never mind. That's the building for Monster Mansion there, so you can see the water retention pool because it's a water ride, and also this massive cooling tower for the AC in there. That's kind of cool to see. All right, Goliath. That was your first B&M coaster, you said?
Yes, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Woo! That thing was an airtime machine.
Like I said, he's not as much of a coaster rider as me, but I've got him to start nerding out about things.
There was a guy that came past us in the execute that said that was on his top 10. I certainly agree with him there. That's one of my favorites now. I'm gonna have to come back and ride again.
I think I would say that is my favorite B&M Hyper. I will say my expectations weren't like hugely exceeded the way they were on Twisted Cyclone and Georgia Gold Rusher especially. Both those were just much better rides than I expected, and so I didn't quite get that feeling on here of like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. But it was really good. I'd say it's like this like exactly met my expectations, which is good because I was worried it wouldn't with the way some of my other friends have been hyping this up. You know, I would say that that is my favorite B&M hypercoaster I've ridden of the proper hypercoasters. If we're talking about the hypercoaster model, obviously I prefer Fury. Wait, that's technically a hypercoaster model, even though it's a giga coaster. So if we're talking about the model B&M Hyper, then I'd say Fury is my favorite. But if we're talking about just hypercoasters that are actually hypercoasters, because that would be Goliath here. So yeah, I do hope at some point they change the name to not be Goliath, maybe, just because there are so many coasters in the Six Flags chain that have the name Goliath. That's kind of stupid. But you know, we'll see. I do like the repaint looks really nice. It got new clamshell restraints this year, and the trains look like they got some new aesthetic, you know, plates on them and stuff. So everything looks really nice, which is good. The station got repainted too. All good, because like Superman was looking really rough, like pretty dirty, like run down, you know, generic Six Flags kind of thing. Oh, we do have to exit through a gift shop. Yay! It's funny, most senior fair parks, with the exception of a couple rides, they don't make you exit through the gift shop. This looks very Velocicoaster inspired for some reason. I don't know why. It just kind of looks like that. Why is there like the Vekoma track back there? So interesting. That looks like it used to be the entrance to Goliath, but they made the entrance there now for some reason. And that's just like extended queue they're not using anymore. And there's some kind of show or something going on over here in their Daredevil. But we're gonna get some lunch. Alright, so I just got food from Firehouse Barbecue. It looks decent, but unfortunately I was told, quote, that they were out of forks for the day, because I asked if I could get one from somewhere, and they were like, oh yeah, we're out of forks for the day. But yeah, Blake's getting a burger from the diner, and he's gonna bring me a fork when he comes out. So yeah, I'm sure for now. I just don't want to lose this seat because there's really a lack of seating around here, so I'm definitely having a Six Flags day now, since they apparently don't have forks to eat the thing that needs to be eaten with a fork. Anyways, if you couldn't tell, I got pulled pork, cornbread, mac and cheese. It's good the platter comes with cornbread. It does look a little small, but it looks like it should be plenty of food. And a Coca-Cola, of course. I don't know if you can hear, but they're playing the Six Flags theme song over there. I wonder if Mr. Six is there. Almost certainly not. I'm so sad they retired that character. Please, bring back Mr. Six. We want Mr. Six. All right, Blake, you smothered that burger in ketchup. That almost looks illegal.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I really put barbecue sauce on it.
I have to say, I've had much. It looks pink on camera. I promise it's not. It's just my camera being weird. But yeah, I've had much better pulled pork at theme parks before. This is near the bottom of my theme park barbecue list, but it's not bad. How's the burger?
This burger's pretty good. I don't really have the old pre-Cedar Fair Six Flags food to go by.
Yeah.
But this is all right.
There you go. Oh, and I should mention the mac and cheese is like not really good, which is unfortunate because the mac and cheese at Carowinds in their barbecue restaurant is like some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had. This was not good, so I'm not gonna finish it. The cornbread was amazing though. All right, lunch was fine. We're gonna go ride the train now because we both like trains.
Yes, we do.
Trains are cool. And they have a train that actually goes around the whole park. I mean, it's a smaller train, like like most theme parks. But anyways, all right. So we found the train station. I don't know how long the wait is. We have seen the train running today, so it shouldn't be too long. We'll see. This train station's a little run down, but I think the train's coming now. Oh, they passed us. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I guess that station is closed. There was no signage to indicate it was closed, and there were like 15 people there, so clearly they need to have some better signage, or better yet, actually staff your station. Just overall, that was it's very bad. So most of the people there we waited like 10-15 minutes just for the train to pass us. Anyways, I guess we'll try Monster Mansion now. I don't know exactly how the capacity is on here, how many boats they're running, but I hear this is a pretty goofy little dark ride. It's a boat ride through a mansion of animatronic monsters. It should be interesting.
Y'all stand right here in front of me.
Yeah, as much as I am a coaster guy, if I had to pick my second favorite ride type behind coasters, it would almost certainly be dark rides. So definitely interested to check this out. So fun fact, when this ride first opened, apparently, it was like, had Song of the South characters in it, kind of like Splash Mountain did. A lot of the animatronics look pretty similar to what Splash Mountain ended up having. So this was like the pre-Splash Mountain, but then at some point they replaced those characters with monsters, and now it's Monster Mansion. It's a little interesting fun fact for you. That was a really bad time for a picture. Oh, what?
No, you dang fools! This way! Stay out of the marsh! Stay out of the marsh! Oh, no!
It's like wind effects. I wasn't expecting that.
Yes!
Oh, Lord.
Cannon ready? Frittabitter, light that fuse! Ready, aim, and fire! Oh, yeah! Lucky for you guys, I found this here cannon.
This is the way back. Oh, it's through like a monster's belly.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, sure, why not? We made it. Good for us. All right, Monster Mansion. Actually, like way better than I expected. What did you think?
Oh, it was nice. It was very well themed.
I know. I wasn't expecting a lot of the. Wait. They got walk around characters. Those are the characters from the Monster Mansion. They're right there. They're there. Nice. Yeah, no, Monster Mansion is that was great. Most of the way all the sets were done and the music and the special effects and stuff, it was actually like much more sophisticated than I expected it to be. There were still some points where you could see like the ceiling, like air ducts and stuff, but overall, I mean, it was one of the highest quality dark rides I've ever seen outside of the Disney or Universal Park. All right, Joker's Funhouse Coaster seems to be open, and apparently this one is very hard to get. Apparently recently it's been closed a lot, so I'm gonna try to go get the credit while I see it running and cycling. So yeah, Joker Funhouse, enter here. Apparently you have to cross through an arcade, and then the entrance to the ride's like in the back of the arcade or something. Yeah, so that says exit only. There's the station kind of up there. We come back here. Oh, yep, we pass through the arcade. And then, oh, right here to the left. All right, that's weird. All right, we made it to the switchbacks, which are upstairs. They don't have very many of them open, which is interesting since the line is spilling out into the arcade downstairs. But anyways.
Like, yeah, it rained last night, but this shouldn't be this wet still. It hasn't rained since like 11 p.m.
Yeah, so I guess they don't have queue gates here. They just let people in, fill in one row at a time. That was actually surprisingly good. First drop, we were in the back row. I actually got a decent bit of airtime there. And after that, I didn't know it goes through like a little mini helix that's like through a tunnel through the building. And that was pretty crazy. Yeah, overall, we rented about 40 minutes for that, or 45 minutes for that, which I'd still say was a little bit too long, but I got the credit, and I know this is a kind of rare one because they don't run it all the time. But yeah, you enjoyed it too.
I did. Surprisingly, I don't know how to describe it. Surprisingly intense in the back.
No, yeah, we were in the back row because I was like, if we're waiting this long, gotta go in the back, get the most intense experience available on this little family coaster thing. It's like halfway between a kiddie coaster and a family coaster, a very small family coaster, but yeah, sitting in the back row, you get a surprisingly sharp airtime pop or two. You really feel that sense of speed in the tunnel. I thought it was a very solid family coaster. It's just the fact that it only runs one train, and I think it's like basically the park's only family coaster other than a mine train, so it gets quite the wait. Like I said, we just waited like 45 minutes for it, but that's okay. It's not something I do every time I'm here, but that's okay for just once. Could be much worse. You saw the switchbacks. We could have been waiting like 3 hours. So
we very well could have.
Yeah.
I'd say it was worth it for the airtime I got.
Okay, gotcha. All right, back into Gotham City we go. So at least ride the two coasters here. I don't know if Blake will do both, but he wants to do Mindbender for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, we're in Gotham City. So most of the rides now just have kind of generic DC signage that all looks kind of the same, which is, I guess, a little unfortunate because I believe that Batman used to have a more thematic sign, and now it just has the sign from all the other rides in here. But yeah, no, it's fine. It is nice that everything here is at least a little consistent. I like this better than having the DC rides just scattered throughout the park. All right, it's time to take on Riddler Mindbender. So yeah, this should be interesting. Hopefully it's not too long of a wait. I don't know. Currently, the only Schwarzkopf that I've ridden is Olympia Looping, and it wasn't bad. I didn't get the hype for it personally, so hopefully this will be a little better. This is one of my favorite queues in the park just because it's really shaded. But yeah, it's right here in the woods. They're rolling trains too. So that's great to see. That was pretty solid. This coaster opened in 1978, like I said, at Schwarzkopf. There aren't very many of these left in the US. There's definitely a lot more Aero loopers than Schwarzkopf loopers. Obviously, Aero loopers, I think they kind of had the edge in the industry just at the time because they were able to do more different kinds of inversions and things like that. Like Schwarzkopf really only ever did vertical loops. I think that's literally the only inversions they did. However, I do think the Schwarzkopf loopers hold up a little bit better today. They're a little smoother. That's really it. They're just a bit smoother, and the positive G's is kind of nuts. And yeah, so I'd say I do put this above Olympia Looping. It rode pretty similarly, but it doesn't have the ridiculous accordion shoulder pad things Olympia Looping does, which are really uncomfortable. This just has lap bars. And also the setting in the trees here is really cool. What do you think, though? You said your mom rode that when she was young.
Back when she was in her teens. She rode this back when it was new, back in 1978, 79.
Yeah.
I know it has different trains now, but still, that was fun. And I'd never actually been on a vertical loop before.
Really?
I've been on pretty much every single other inversion other than a vertical loop, but never a vertical loop. And it was interesting. I don't know if that was positive G's I felt, but it was. But I definitely felt it on both of those loops. And so if I can take on Mindbender's vertical loop, I feel like I can do something like Tennessee Tornado at Dollywood now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anyways, we're going to actually ride the train now from the train depot that actually lets you board, allegedly. Yeah, I was going to do Batman while I was in Gotham City, but Blake didn't really want to ride that one. He wanted to come do the train. And so I'll have all day tomorrow, but this is my time with him, so I wanted to make sure I do what I wanted to get done with him. So, yeah. right, we rode the train. It took a while. We were on there. I saw, I think, 6 Twisted Cyclones trains go while we were sitting there waiting to go. I don't know how they decide
It
when
was
they're
a
running
little
the train.
long.
Yeah, well, the train ride was cool though. I still got a diesel train, goes kind of around the park, get
Yeah.
some cool views for sure. Get to see some backstage areas you probably shouldn't see. So.
Oh yeah, all the people on the trams running by on the service road are waving at us. So.
Oh yeah, but when we got to the other station, there were still like 20 people over there because there's no signage telling you can't use that station, which is just really frustrating. They really need to do something about that. Yeah. There were even people on the train behind us that were like, "Yeah, we were on that earlier." Waiting over there earlier, we didn't know. We were like, yeah, us too. And they were like, yeah, they definitely needs to be a sign. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that. It's one of the most frustrating things today. Yeah, well, because just since we're right here and I don't have the credit yet, I'm going to go ahead and do the mine train. Dahlonega mine train. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Dahlonega? Okay. It's a cool station building. I don't know why there's like pop music videos playing, but cool nonetheless. I'm going to wait for back row to try to get that most intense possible mine train experience. I don't know why these music videos are playing.
To the right.
Alright, mine train was decent for a coaster built in 1967. And a really good family coaster. Surprisingly smooth for a coaster built in 1967. What'd you think? You rode near the front earlier and we did back row that time.
I did. It was smooth.
Okay.
I
Nice.
definitely felt more laterals in the back than I did toward the front. So.
Yeah, no, all fun. This is a really pretty park just because of the landscaping. I like that they didn't level it. You know, they just used the hill and the natural terrain that was here, which makes most of the park very pretty, even if it is kind of run down. Most of the buildings really need repaints and stuff, but it's pretty because nature. Next up is Justice League Battle for Metropolis, just because it's more of a game dark ride. I want to play it with Blake while he's here. All right, so here we go. Outdoor queues mostly empty. I don't know how much indoor queue space they have. We'll find out. They could use some new signs on the outside of the building. They're a little faded. Otherwise, hopefully this will be a pretty good dark ride. I've heard good things about it. All right, I don't know how much indoor queue space there is. Oh.
Destroy inert objects. Fortunately, they only stun human targets. Blasters precaution because they are really powerful. They're also equipped with special blasters.
Oh, wow. More than I expected from Six Flags.
They're here to help the Justice League defeat you, and nothing will stop us.
Get ready for the lives.
Good luck, Joker. Better men than you have tried and failed miserably.
Cycle. Come in, Cycle.
Got you loud and clear, Batman.
The Joker is taking over Star Labs. He's using the facility to manufacture this deadly laughing gas. It is impulsive nature. It's only a matter of time before he tries to accelerate the distribution of the laughing gas throughout the city with a long explosion. We need to get the Justice League reserve team inside Star Labs to deactivate any explosives before the whole place goes up.
Good job. Nice job.
You should be very proud.
Now let's see who took the top spot. Booyah! Laughing gas!
All right, exiting through the gift shop here.
A rather warm gift shop.
Yeah, no. It's because the actual dark ride portion was very well air conditioned, and this
does not feel like it is. So, anyways.
I'm glad we did that. I think I'd have to think about it a bit more, but I think that may be my new favorite non-Disney, non-Universal dark ride. Actually, I don't know what exactly I expected. I hadn't looked at any POVs or anything beforehand, but yeah, no. The vehicles are on like a motion base, so they actually like move, not quite as much as like Spider-Man at Universal, but it's like that where it moves on a motion base, which is really awesome. So even with the shooting element like aside, there was still some really cool practical sets and special effects. Like there's fire at one point, fog, smoke. There's like a screen where it's like water vapor screen that it projects on. There's even a point you pull up to this massive screen and then it, you know, it kind of acts like a motion simulator, and a really good one at that. So even aside from the actual like shooting part, that's almost kind of the worst part of the ride because it just looks like a really cheap arcade video game. But my favorite part was just the way the actual, you know, whole thing was set up. You really don't see stuff like that at regional theme parks usually. What do you think?
I thought that was great. I mean, like, I'd only been on like a small handful of dark rides, and the motion simulator thing at the end was just like top notch.
No, I know. I was gonna say
you got like double my score though.
I did. Some of the people always say like, oh, Disney Universal dark rides are great, but other parks can't afford to spend that much on a ride. And that's true, but I think something like Justice League there really puts into perspective what you still can do on a budget that's lower than, you know, a Disney Universal budget. Because, you know, that still packed in a lot of stuff that you just would not see on other regional theme park dark rides, at least here in North America. And the reason I like that so much is because it was kind of action-packed. I like dark rides that are a little bit more action-based, you know. So, anyways, really enjoyed that. Hopefully I'll get to do that again with Jason tomorrow.
Cycling again. I don't think it's going to open this weekend. We'll see. That would be clutch if it opens tomorrow and I can get all the credits in this park. But I don't think it will.
The music they're playing in this area sounds like, I swear I've heard some of these songs at Dollywood before. We're just in Dollywood. Especially over by, this isn't as bad, over by Georgia's Gold Rusher. That literally just feels like Dollywood in a good way, but yeah, it really feels like I'm at home there.
Like the shortest I've seen this line all day. Gotta take advantage of that. This is a weird ride for this park, but hopefully it's good.
Please exit to your left and down the exit. And down the
The
exit.
programming is not great. The station always has to sit empty for quite a bit before the
Welcome to Daredevil Dive. First, stay all.
All right, I Daredevil dived. I think Blake's going to try to ride the log flume. So I'm gonna head down to Batman. Daredevil dive was fine. It kind of feels out of place at this park for some reason. But I think that's probably my favorite Gerstlauer I've done, which is not very many. But Mystery Mine's much better themed, and I really do love Mystery Mine. I'm one of the only enthusiasts that does. And that ride was a bit smoother. The only thing is the lap bars like destroy your circulation, especially when you're sitting on the brake run. I think that's the most pain my legs have ever been in from a lap bar, other than maybe T3. Yeah, I think T3 was a little worse, but still. I was gonna make fun of them calling it a dive coaster since it's not really a dive coaster, but there is a trim brake at the top that does kind of hold you over the drop for a minute. The drop wasn't that good. I don't know. I was expecting a lot more after the vertical lift, but yeah, at least the operations are decent. They're running 3 trains, even though each one can only hold 6. They are rolling them. At least right now they were. Still terrible capacity with only 6 people on each train, but it is what it is.
Right, got about 45 minutes till the park closes. So, we do want to try to get our last ride on Twisted Cyclone. Blake really wants to do that one again right before closing, but I just have Batman and Georgia Scorcher left for credits here. I will be back here tomorrow, so I'm not too concerned if I don't get them, but it would be nice too.
This will be exciting. I have not done a Batman the Ride clone before. Only 2 B&M inverts I've done are Banshee and Afterburn, but I really do like Afterburn. Fantastic classic B&M invert there, and this is also a classic B&M invert.
the 90s, so should kind of have the same kind of deal going on with being very intense, very whippy. People say good things about the Batman clones, even though they are clones, and apparently, supposedly, this one's the best one. Like, apparently it runs like an absolute bat out of hell, and apparently it just runs way faster than any of the other ones for some reason, so I am excited about that. Whoa! Got some theming I wasn't really expecting, so that's fun. I think we're supposed to be walking through the sewers of Gotham to access the Batcave. So yeah, that's fun. Got some Batman music playing, so definitely enjoy that. Alright, so that's kind of the main food building there that we're bypassing. It's not that busy. Yeah, definitely cool view here. Okay, yeah, I see what people mean with the fact that Batman just runs really fast. Of course, I haven't done any of the other ones to compare it to, but it does run really fast. Forceful. Overall, I didn't enjoy the layout quite as much as I thought I would. I don't know why. Maybe I'll just have to try it again tomorrow. It was still a really good ride, but I would definitely prefer Afterburn right now. Just, I don't know. Afterburn just has a more interesting layout. That's a bit of a weird experience because, worst operations of the day and worst operators of the day, they were being kind of rude to some people, and it was not great. So thumbs down to the Batman crew today compared to the rest of the park. So that kind of left a sour taste as well. So overall, I don't know, could have been better, but I did enjoy the ride. All right, we were in line for Georgia Scorcher, and then it broke down, and there's only like 10 minutes till the park closes. So we're gonna go ride Twisted Cyclone instead.
Dude, this Blue Hawk shirt is kind of hilarious, and all this Blue Hawk merch.
Why? All right, the sun is setting and the park is already closed. It kind of sucks. Talking about, I guess now they're all Six Flags parks, but Six Flags parks in the southeast. Carowinds was open from 10 to 9 today, and here is 11 to 8. So 2 hours less. In Carowinds, it would be possible to grab like one night ride or two at the end of the night. Not possible here, which really sucks. Really sucks. The hours are not great at most of the legacy Six Flags parks. All right, you exit out what used to be the entrance here, which is kind of cool, I guess. So exit out. A lot of people going to the left because they had a lot of people parking in the kind of overflow parking lot that's over there to the left.
Good night, sir.
Interestingly enough, we're over in the main parking lot to the right. Something funny, not funny. We did get our last ride on Twisted Cyclone there, which was nice. But then we had gotten out at the gift shop like right at 8, maybe a little bit before, like 7:59. Queue was still open, so we walked through the queue, and there's a bunch of people on the stairs too, right? And we get up there, they're like, oh yeah, no, it's 8 o'clock, the ride's closed, you'll have to leave. And that was it. They just kicked everybody out of the queue, which I've never seen that at any park before. Anytime I'm going through the park, even parks that close queues early, I've never seen them just say, oh, park's closed and clear a line before. Like a Holiday World, even though they do try to have the lines cleared by then, and by closing time, I was on Voyage like 15 minutes after close before, because they still, it's kind of typical expectation at any amusement park, right, that they clear the line. So unless the ride breaks down, if you're in line, you get to ride. So that was like really dumb, but yeah. They should really replace that sign. That's seen better days.
All right, bye-bye Six Flags Over Georgia. I will be back here tomorrow. You won't, but you also live here, so you can come whenever you want, basically.
I do hope to be back.
All right.
A couple more times this season.
Hopefully. Okay, cool.
I don't think I've ever seen an Andy's this crowded before. What?
I guess like everybody in Alpharetta decided they wanted Andy's tonight. Had to wait 20 minutes for that, but
Got a large triple chocolate concrete. These are really good if you haven't had them.
you just got a vanilla milkshake.
I did.
Boring.
Wanted something basic.
Or I'm just kidding. Anyways, my first impressions of Six Flags Over Georgia. We're back in Blake's apartment, but
Hello.
taking a
Very
chill.
tired.
Yeah, fair enough. So, what was your first impressions of Six Flags Over Georgia as a local who hasn't been there before?
It was very nice. The ride ops were spot on. The rides were spectacular, and I think it's definitely one of the greatest parks I've been to. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, no, I definitely understand why some people really don't like Over Georgia, but I thought it was pretty good. Again, as he said, most of the ride-ups we interacted with were great. Most of the staff were pretty nice. I did have a few interactions with some rude staff members, but for the most part, they were great. Good operations, what I think is a Cedar Fair management thing, so keep that up, hopefully. And yeah, the ride collection was like surprisingly, I mean, I knew beforehand, but they just have a really great variety of different attractions there that cover a lot of different niches, whereas some of the Six Flags and Legacy Cedar Fair parks don't really have that going for them. They don't have as nice, ride varieties. Here it feels like it doesn't have the same kind of standouts that like a Carowinds or a Cedar Point or a Magic Mountain does, but like it has enough really good stuff that I think you can go a whole day without getting bored. Dark rides are great too. You don't see those at regional theme parks as much. You got two really awesome ones there. Yeah, overall my impressions were pretty positive. My main thing is that park is freaking stapling hell. Holy shit. I think I got like stapled on every single ride that day. Every single ride, the ride ops just came and just put their whole body weight into that. You had the same experience?
Yes, that last ride we went on, Twisted Cyclone, they stapled me in so hard, like I could hardly breathe.
It was like all day for me. Like almost every ride I got on, if it was a ride type I'd experienced before, I'd be like, man, I literally didn't know that the lap bar was capable of going down that far. Our last ride on Twisted Cyclone felt like friggin' T3. I actually don't understand why they're doing that, but we'll see if tomorrow's any better in that regard, because considering it was almost every ride today, it's got to be some kind of like park policy. It's probably not going to be any better. Yeah, in terms of the park itself, it was a little bit run down. There were some buildings that really needed to be repainted, and a lot of things were just a little bit dirty, but you can tell that the new management's really trying to turn that around. Like you can see, we saw a lot of stuff getting repainted. A lot of like Batman had new restraints on it. Goliath had new restraints on it. The Goliath trains looked really nice, but there was some stuff like the Superman was really dirty. It needs to be pressure washed, and then the trains really need some new cosmetic like plates on them and stuff. They're not looking too hot, but overall I really liked how the park was built into the natural terrain. It's very forested, very in the woods. Those are two things I really enjoy. So as I kind of mentioned during the day, the park was beautiful mostly because of the nature around it. A lot of stuff was pretty run down, but the natural area it was built around was so pretty in my opinion that kind of made up for it, and it was a pretty nice looking park. What did you think?
It was very nice. A lot of the areas were so well themed. Like Gotham City was one of the big standouts, along with the, I think it was called like Lick Skillet Park or something. It was the Wild West themed area that had the cowboy show going on. That's the one where Georgia Gold Rusher is, and so I can see why they wanted to change the name to fit the theming. But that Wild West area reminded me of Dollywood. It was so well themed.
It really did. The whole area around Georgia Gold Rusher was very, especially the music they're playing, I swear, was tracked straight out of Dollywood. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, no, I wasn't as impressed by the theming. I thought the Gotham City area was a little generic, but the Metropolis in front of Superman was fine, I guess. Justice League was really well themed inside. I think that's kind of what makes that area. But yeah, I found most of the theming to be me. But I do like what they did with Georgia Gold Rusher. So anyways, I'm going to stop blabbing because we need to go to bed. But I'll be back at this park again tomorrow. So if you want to see more of my thoughts, I'll be back tomorrow with my friend Jason from Coasters and Things. So maybe get some different perspectives from a different person. So look out. That video will be soon after this one. Whenever you see this, it'll probably be like July before you see this. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch another ride with you again very soon.